First of all, thank you everyone for attending this webinar series with the Thai Italian Chamber of Commerce. I'm Michele Tomea, Secretary General of the Chamber. Today we have a prestigious speaker from Eastern Economic Corridor, Dr. Luxmon. Before starting, just a quick overview. We will try to, of course, deliver the best we can in this business environment. Today, we are talking about business opportunities in the Eastern Economic Corridor, and I want to thank Dr. Luxmon, Attapich, for being with us today. Just to give you like a very quick overview, I will give our virtual stage to Dr. Luxmon in a few minutes. She will deliver a presentation with a slide, and kindly she will make available the presentation that with my office we will distribute to everyone attending this afternoon. And we will leave for the final part of the presentation, so in about 30 to 40 minutes, a Q&A session. What is suggested to do, perhaps, write down your inquiries in the chat that you can find on the right side of the screen. As a moderator with my team, we will help you to address later on our distinguished speaker. And now just a quick overview about this afternoon event. We're talking about, of course, this opportunity in Thailand and specifically in the Eastern Economic Corridor. Today, we have the pleasure to host the Deputy Secretary General of EECO, Eastern Economic Corridor Office, Dr. Luxmon Attapich. She oversees investment promotion and international affairs. Before joining the EECO, Luxmon was a senior country economist at the Asian Development Bank, where she took care of macroeconomic and policy analysis. She managed the Capital Market Development Program and was also in charge of financial inclusion technical assistance programs to Thailand. Before joining the Asian Development Bank, Luxmon worked at the Revenue Department and the Fiscal Policy Office. She was the chief of academic team to Minister of Finance and Deputy Prime Minister during 2000 to 2005. Furthermore, Dr. Luxmon received a BA, a Bachelor of Arts in Political Sciences from Chulalongkorn University and a postgraduate degree in economics from University of Cambridge, and finally a Ph.D. in Southeast Asian Studies from the University of Hull in the UK. So with no much further ado, now I will leave this virtual stage to her, and thank you again for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you very much. A nice introduction. Good afternoon to those of you in Asia, and good morning to those of you in Europe. It is my pleasure to speak to you today about the EEC, which is a flagship project of the government of Thailand. So I'm going to share the presentation now. I hope everyone can see the presentation on the screen. Right. So let's have a look what EEC is. The Eastern Economic Corridor of Thailand covers 3 provinces in the eastern part of Thailand. In Thailand, around 30 years ago, the industrialization was jump-started by the eastern seaboard of Thailand back then. So this time we developed the Eastern Economic Corridor, leveraging upon what we already have at the eastern seaboard back then. And now we add one more province, which is Chachoengsao, to connect it to Bangkok. From the presentation, you can see the total area and total population of the Eastern Economic Corridor 3 provinces. What are we doing to develop the corridor of development? First of all, it's the infrastructure. We are developing several infrastructure projects in the EEC area at the moment so that the EEC can be the connectivity point And we are going to work on the seamless logistics to make sure that EEC can be the prime gateway to Asia. So from this slide presentation, you can see the major infrastructure projects that we are working on at the moment. We have already signed contracts for 3 important projects. The Attapich Seaport, which is an expansion of a liquid gas terminal. The high-speed rail project, which is linking 3 international airports, the Don Mueang and Suvarnabhumi in Bangkok, to the new international airport in EEC. And the third project that we already signed a contract is the new Attapich International Airport. So these 3 projects, construction is happening this year. The last project that we will sign a contract this year, very soon actually, is the Lam Chabang Seaport Phase 3. Lam Chabang has been our main export seaport for Thailand, and we are expanding into Phase 3 for this seaport. So you can see from the map here is that we have good transportation, multimodal transportation in the EEC area to serve industries, to serve exporters. And this multimodal transportation in the EEC links Thailand with neighboring countries and with ASEAN as well. If we look into the details of each project, the high-speed rail, as I mentioned earlier, connecting the 3 international airports, which means the traveling time from Bangkok to the new international airport in the EEC is less than 60 minutes. The Attapich International Airport, with the capacity, a maximum capacity of 60 million passengers. At the moment, we have signed a contract last year. Detailed design is happening now, and very soon we will see the construction happening for the runway and other. The Attapich International Airport is a very big project with so many components in it. As you can see here, we have the passenger terminal, we have the ground transportation center, we have the cargo terminal. We are developing into a cargo village actually. And also very interesting is the MRO, maintenance, repair and overhaul apron that we are developing. Some of you might have already heard about the projects of the Thai Airways and Airbus. 2 years ago, Thai Airways and Airbus entered into a kind of MOU to develop an MRO center together in the Attapich International Airport. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, the project is now being delayed. So at the moment, Thai Airways is going into the reform period. Soon they will come up with a new MRO plan. There will definitely be an MRO of Thai Airways in the Attapich International Airport, but the project will be adjusted accordingly to the situation of the economic situation today and according to the situation of the Thai Airways today. But very interestingly is that within the Attapich International Airport, we have an area that can host 3 more MROs, apart from Thai Airways 1. So we are very happy to have discussions with those companies who are looking to develop MROs in this region. The Attapich Industrial Port, this is the liquid gas terminal. This project is ongoing at the moment already. The Lam Chabang Seaport, which is the phase 3 of the existing seaport. We are anticipating EEC to be a very vibrant industrial area into the future. So we are expanding our main seaport to be able to host activities into the future. Not only transport infrastructure, but we are also developing a lot of digital infrastructure. we give importance to digital infrastructure in the EEC area. I'm happy to report to you that Thailand has already completed the auction of 5G last year. And in the condition of the auction, we say that the winner will have to roll out 5G at least 50% of the EEC promoted areas within March this year. And everything is on track. So we are going to have many important clusters of 5G in the EEC area. And I will talk about the use case of 5G later. So we are developing all these infrastructure projects, whether physical or digital, so that we can be a very good area, competitive area for investment in particular industries. For the EEC, we target 12 particular industries, as you can see from this presentation. Agriculture, biotechnology, food for the future, medical, biofuel, intelligent electronics, robotics, next generation automotive, digital, logistics, high value medical, tourism, education, and defense. So these are the 12 industries that we are focusing. Last year, when the pandemic hit the world, we kind of re-evaluated ourselves, whether the EEC is still relevant, whether our targeted industries are still relevant. And what we found is this. We can see three very important themes emerge in the world. First, everybody knows health. Health became the center of everything in the past year. Digital, the pandemic, I would say it accelerated the adoption of digital technology throughout the world. Like what we are doing here today, we are doing webinar, which it never happened before last year. And logistics, more than before, people see the importance of very strong and very robust logistics system, because the pandemic can affect the logistics and affect the whole import-export chains and affects businesses. So we see three important themes emerge. And then we look at our targeted industries. And what we found is that all the 12 targeted industries fits into one of the three themes perfectly. So if you look at the grouping, health, digital, logistics, you can see that all our targeted industry interwoven into the themes. And when you look at the picture, you can see circular and green economy at the bottom here. This is another emerging theme that we found in the world today. So apart from health, digital, and logistics, we say circular and green also very important and cut across every industry. Now, if we look at the digital theme, I would say 5G is at the center of our development in the EEC area. So what are we doing with 5G? We are rolling out 5G in 4 important targeted areas in the EEC. And we say 5G is good for Industry 4.0. So the automation of existing factories is one thing that can leverage upon the 5G. 5G also very important for data-related businesses. And in the world today, we see cloud and data center businesses blooming. And these businesses will have to rely a lot on 5G technology. So these are the technologies and the industries that we are thinking they can leverage upon 5G that we have in the EEC area. And of course, 5G is also important for smart city development, smart city solutions. These are the pilot areas for 5G use case rolling out. The area are near the Attapich International Airport and also around the Mataput seaport as well. So the combination of physical infrastructure and digital infrastructure is very nice, I would say. So there are many opportunities for investors to participate in these pilot areas. If they would like to develop use case for 5G, to launch their products that have to plug into 5G platform, we welcome discussions, what we can do together in these pilot areas in the EEC. And these are some of the use cases in the 5G area. I say some, it's already a lot. As you can see, 5G is important for precision agriculture, for example. Manufacturing, we all know Industry 4.0 rely a lot on 5G technology. Healthcare today is very important. Telemedicine is being developed in many countries, and 5G will really help the speed and the precision of telemedicine. Consumer and tourism, definitely, so many use cases for 5G, and that I would say smart city is one important node for the development in the area. So I would really welcome discussions with companies who are interested in all these use cases with 5G. The next theme that I would like to talk about is the health and well-being. As mentioned, health is a center of attention today. And in the EEC area, we have many important projects that fits nicely into this theme and has many opportunities for investment. When we look at the theme of health and well-being, we divide into two parts. One, we call it plant-centric. Another one, we call it human-centric. What do we mean? If you look at our own targeted industries, we can see agriculture as one. This is the basis of our plant-centric theme. In agriculture, we would like to develop advanced agriculture technology, and we welcome participation. The use of drones, the use of digital technology in agriculture to develop quality farming. And with agriculture produce combining with bioprocessing technology, we think that products like functional food and cosmetics or cosmeceutical are the strengths that we have in Thailand in EEC. In the EEC, you can see on the left-hand side, the orange box, we have the word EECI. This is the innovation platform that is being developed in the EEC area, and it will help investors with bioprocessing technology. It will help investors on many fronts on the plant-centric health theme. On the human-centric theme, we have important projects being developed in the EEC, that is the Genomics Thailand. What we are doing now is that we are going to have the Human Genome Sequencing Center in the EEC with 50,000 samples to begin with. And with that genomics data, so many opportunities will arise. And I will talk about it in details a little bit later. So this is the EECI that I talked about, the EEC for Innovation Platform. Within the EECI, we will have the Biopolis. Within the Biopolis, we have the biorefinery. We are working together with the bio-based Europe pilot plant to have the bio-based pilot plant in the EEC area. And we also have facilities for advanced and innovative agriculture, such as plant factory, genomics greenhouse, and open field smart farming. We also have the newest generation of synchrotron light source in the EECI area. And this will be an important infrastructure for nanotechnology and many other research involving health theme. So investors who are working with us in the EEC, and they can use and benefit from all these facilities available in the EECI. So they don't have to invest in their own genomics greenhouse, for example. They don't have to invest in their own bio-based laboratory, because they can use these facilities in the EECI and they can benefit from the light source from the synchrotron machine for the development of their products. The Genomics Thailand project, as I mentioned earlier, 50,000 samples of Thai genes will be sequenced. And with those data, will lead to opportunities in therapeutics, in manufacturing, and in R&D. Also, we are working together, we are looking to work together with institutions around the world to do research in the genomics area as well. Apart from Genomics Thailand project, we would also really like to encourage investment in regenerative medicine. And we are working to make sure that we have attractive ecosystem for regenerative medicine in the EEC area. The logistic theme. Well, multimodal transportation is one very distinct feature of the EEC. So I think we cannot deny that the EEC is the good place to be a logistic hub. We are working on the Attapich International Airport, where air cargo will be one of the important features that we are looking to develop. And with the seaport, with the high-speed rail and double-track railway, and also very good road connection, distribution hub in the EEC, I think would be very sensible business to look at. And we are also working to make sure that the software side of logistics is functioning well. So we are working to improve our custom procedures. We are working to improve all the seamless logistic procedures in the EEC area and Thailand in general as well. Green, circular, very important in the world today. As you can see, it is a global issue, and there are agreements around the world on the sustainable green and circular economy. And in the US, very recently, executive order on tackling climate crisis at home and abroad, for example. So with that in mind, EEC would like to make sure that the development in the EEC area are green and circular. And we are working a lot on reducing carbon emission to make sure that investment in EEC are low carbon. We are working with many international partners on this, actually. So when we look at the low carbon businesses, we see the linkage with many of our targeted industries. And we see a lot of opportunities for investment, for deploying technologies that supports low carbon in the EEC area. And we look forward to have further discussions with you who are interested in this particular theme. So within the EEC area, we have designated certain zones to be promoted zones. When we say promoted zones, of course, there are privileges attached to these zones. These are the specific zones. We have the EECH, which is the high-speed rail ribbon sprawl. Along the high-speed rail line, we have TOD, transport-oriented development centers, the stations, and there are opportunities for commercial and property investments. We have EEC MD, which is one of our medical hubs. EEC, I saw one question from the audience on the EEC MD. So yes, we are involved with Thammasat University EEC MD. We have the EECG, the Genomics Thailand. We have the Digital Park. We have the Eastern Airport City. So the Attapich International Airport is not going to be just an airport. We are working to develop an airport city with commercial area, business area, and so on. And we have already announced 21 industrial estates to be our promoted zones. So for industries who are located in these special targeted promoted zones can enjoy privileges and one-stop service from the EEC. So these are the privileges. We have one-stop service that you can come to EEC, and then we help you with all these special license permits. And then we have EEC privileges on the ownership of land, on the work permit and visa, on tax and duties, foreign exchange controls. And another important feature of the EEC is the regulatory sandbox feature, meaning that because we are talking about future technologies, it is very possible that existing rules and regulations might not be facilitative enough, might not be designed for new business models or technologies. So we are ready to work with investors so that they can try and test the new technologies in the EEC area, so that we can work with them to make changes to rules and regulation to suit the business of the future. And this is a very interesting feature that many investors are working with us to make sure that their business can be here in Thailand without all regulatory obstacles. So thank you so much for listening, and if you are interested, you can use this QR code to look into more details, and I'm here to answer the questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have actually some questions from the participant. One was related, the first one probably that we received in the chat was related to the involvement of a project with Medical Hub with Thammasat. You said that actually EEC is involved in this development, right? So let's say attracting, let's say, that kind of tourism related to medical, also kind of assistance for attracting foreigners to come to Thailand, come back to Thailand, or also like Medical Hub in development of pharmaceutical or medicine.
I would like to further elaborate on the EEC MD. In the presentation, you might see that they have the EEC Genomics Thailand. That's also one of the medical hub. EEC MD is another medical hub. The EEC MD project is being developed by Thammasat University in Pattaya area. And that will focus a lot on digital health technologies. So for those who are interested in digital health technologies, EEC MD together with Thammasat will be where they would like to look at. For those who are interested in precision medicines or genomics medicine, they would want to work together with the Genomics Thailand in the EECG, for example. But that's not all the medical investment opportunities in the EEC. As I mentioned earlier, we are also focusing a lot on regenerative medicine. The whole area of 3 provinces, people might see that there are other areas in the EEC provinces that they might want to invest in a regenerative medicine hospital, for example. That we can also enter into discussion, and if the project is viable, we can also give privileges to the project, and that particular project can be our promoted area as well. So I would encourage people who are interested in regenerative, precisions, and digital medicines to come and have further discussion with us.
Thank you very much. And we have also another question from the audience is related to tourism. So one of the attendees is asking if it's possible to provide on what high-value tourism as one of the 10 key industry sector in EEC is the one to be targeted. And if it's possible also to have some example of those type of tourism that are related to a qualifying tourism project. For example, and perhaps also those projects that are not related as a qualifying tourism project for EEC.
Right. Thank you for the question. High value tourism is something that is very difficult to define, I must admit. But I can give you some examples. If we are going to develop just a hotel, yes, hotel is tourism, but it's just a hotel, then definitely we cannot say it's a high value tourism. But what if we are going to develop a theme park that is using digital technology, virtual reality theme park, for example? That is interesting because it involves our targeted technology, digital, and also perhaps the AR and AI as well. And that particular theme park, I would say definitely high value because it attracts certain kind of tourism into the country, not just any tourist. So it is very difficult to define high value tourism. Again, discussions with us would be encouraged.
Okay, thank you. And we have another question, and one of the participants is say, we are a Thai Italian company that produce roasted coffee in Thailand. We are already in Chonburi, and this year we will expand our business, building up a new factory that will use 100% organic green coffee from Thailand. And the idea to reach Thai and ASEAN market as a main aim. I would like to know if our business can be included in those of EEC and have their benefit.
Right. I would say two things came to mind. On the agriculture side, those coffees, those organic coffees might use very advanced agriculture technology in the production, in the plantation process. That is definitely advanced agriculture targeted industries for us. And maybe certain technologies are applied to produce the roasted coffee, and it's a new technology. Might be technology that can preserve the roasted coffee longer or enhance the aroma or whatever, I don't know. But if technologies are involved, and you can say that these technologies means that it's higher technology of food production, or such roasted coffee can fall into the category of food for the future, then yes. So there are many angles that we can think and tweak and make sure that you use more technology in your production and that you are our targeted industries.
Okay, thank you. We receive other two inquiries. The first one is, do you plan to extend the railway line to Trat province in order to develop Ko Chan and surrounding area?
Well, for the railway, there are two parts. The first is the high-speed rail, which is for passenger, basically. The second is the double-track railway, that is for freight, for goods. Definitely for the double-track railways, the State Railway Authority of Thailand are developing railways line of Thailand. That's definite. But for the high-speed rail for passengers, the first phase stopped at Attapich. Second phase is being studied under feasibility studies to go where and end where. So that's to freight and passengers. So for freight, I would say definitely to Trat province, Ko Chang, I'm not sure. Let me have a look. Yeah.
Okay, Thank you. And something that is mostly related to probably logistics. And currently, the custom code is not always supporting external investment. And we understand that there are sandbox possibilities. Why not open this in general to investment also to small, medium enterprises? From Mr. Roderick Hoffman, EADC.
Could you please repeat the question again, or is the question on the chat?
It's actually in the chat, but is kind of broken into little different chats. But let's say the first one is, we understand that there are sandbox possibilities. Why not open this in general to investment also for small, medium enterprises? This one could be the first one.
Right. The thing is that for the concept of sandbox, there are certain things that we are not sure if it is feasible under, well, regulatory wise and procedural wise. So we would like to pilot in the EEC area and look at the impact of those changes or those exemptions first in the controlled kind of area. And if it turns out that such changes or exemptions in rules and regulation has no negative procedurals or impacts, then it can be rolled out nationwide. That is the plan. So it's a kind of pilot to make sure that everything is fine, no problems, and then later can be rolled out nationwide.
And the same participant was asking, or was saying that it appears that currently the customs code is not always supporting external investment. Is that true?
Well, we have heard a lot of investors complaining about custom procedures. We are happy to report that we are working closely with the custom departments, who is very understanding and trying to improve a lot of things. And certain rules and we have already done that as well. So yeah, first, yes, customs procedures are being improved in general throughout the country. Certain rules and regulations on customs can be exempted in the EEC area.
Okay, thank you. But let's say one very, very basic question. Let's say for access EEC, is there a minimum capital requested to invest and access the benefit? Is like other scheme of industrial park, or let's say there is a different scheme. It depends if your company is, I don't know, a manufacturing company or a lab for research and development. Let's say how much is expected to invest the foreign companies, and is the ownership 100% in the hands of the foreign investor, or will they need also to have a Thai shareholder in EEC?
First of all, I would like to inform that the investment gateway to Thailand is the Board of Investment. So basically, most of the time when we talk to investors, it turns out that they can already benefit from the Board of Investment privilege package. And we would encourage them to explore Board of Investment package first to begin with. But if their investment or their projects does not fit into any category of the Board of Investment, but they are confident that they falls into the 12 targeted industries and use technologies, then we can have discussions to see how EEC can provide privileges, because we cannot duplicate what BOI is doing to begin with. But if your project does not match with BOI criteria, but very certain high technology, targeted technology for Thailand, then we can have discussions to see how we can help. And on the foreign ownership, there are one other law that we have to take into consideration, that is the Foreign Business Act. I think many of you are aware. So certain business activities are not allowed to be foreign majority. But if you are an EEC granted juristic person, then exemption from Foreign Business Act Annex 2 and 3 would be possible. For the ownership of land, normally if you buy land in an industrial estate, already foreign majority can buy land in industrial estates according to that law, no problem at all. But if you are looking in some other area and you are building a clusters of new technology and would like to have a new piece of land in the EEC to develop that, and the project is foreign majority, EEC law can grant the ownership of land to foreign majority as well, but of course with certain conditions.
Okay, thank you. There is also some other question. Again, we have one from Mr. Charles. Mr. Charles is asking, assuming a Thai control ownership, would the EEC give favorable consideration to certain premium residential condominium projects, for example, located close to high-speed rail, with regard to foreign quota, which is 49%? Would you support projects up to, say, 70% foreign quota instead?
Condominium, you mean?
Yes, premium residential condominium projects.
Right. For the EEC law, condominiums in our promoted zones can be 100% foreign owned. But it has to be in the EEC promoted zones.
So from another one is from Mr. Antonio Condurro. Is it possible to apply with BOI and use the regulations and set up a business in EEC, for example, for the industrial estate areas, and use also the facilities offered by EEC?
Yes, of course. If your company is going to be located in an industrial estate in the EEC area, and your project is qualified for BOI incentives, definitely we encourage you to apply for BOI incentives to get tax exemption, duties exemptions, and then we can help you with all the EEC one-stop service to get permits and license, because you are in our promoted industrial estates. Together, we work together with BOI.
And Dr. Luxmon, also before in your presentation, you mentioned about, of course, Medical Hub, research and development for human genome. And in this case, for example, if you have foreign companies developing very advanced type of medicine with the BOI or EC, would you allow, for example, scholars, academics to access the labs under a certain type of benefit for them, or for the company bringing foreigners to work together in Thailand?
Yes. One important facilitative measures of EEC is that we will help with the work permit and visa for experts in certain technologies that we would like to have working in Thailand. So definitely with Genomics Thailand projects, we need a lot of experts in drug discovery, in genomics data interpretation, for example. So if companies are interested to work in this particular area, pharmaceutical company would like to use genomics data to do research on new drugs that is suitable for Thai people or Southeast Asian people. And they need to bring in experts to work on this project. Definitely the EEC law, we can help.
And also, probably something very quickly, how can we reach you? Let's say, how can we reach EEC? Do you have an office in Bangkok downtown? You have also office in Eastern Seaboard. Very quickly, let's say, if we need to reach your team.
Right, our office is in Bangkok. Actually, we are at the Cat Tower on Jaran Krung Road. So we are just opposite to the Icon Siam. Right. So yeah. So if you go to EEC website, you can see our address, and there is also the info email that you can drop messages to us, and you can call our office to make appointments and come in and have discussions.
Okay, so let's say EEC can be considered exactly like a public office. So if we have, hopefully, like more foreigners coming back to Thailand soon, they can visit your office or without, let's say, a previous appointment. They can just pass by to pick up contacts and information. Or it's better to always book in advance. What would you suggest?
I think I would suggest that give us a call on a large team. We are a small team, and each day we have so many appointments. So to make sure that the expert on particular technology that you are
Okay, thank you. And for other attendees, if anybody would like to drop a question, today we talked maybe about tourism, a bit about Medical Hub. As Italian Chamber, we work closely also with, for example, technology in energy efficiency, for example, with Informa Market in the ASEAN Sustainable Energy Week. And also maybe something that could be interesting, you mentioned about the MRO, so the maintenance of aviation, civil aviation, I would say. Perhaps if you like to share something about these two topics, aviation and maybe energy efficiency.
definitely falls under the green and circular theme.
On Luxmon, we lost a bit the audio. If you can repeat.
We lost you as well.
Kun Luxmon, can you repeat just a few, maybe 30 seconds? We lost a bit the contact.
All right. Yeah, so I was saying that energy efficiency is definitely something that we look for because it fits into the theme of green and circular economy. So products, investment in products that help with energy efficiency, for example, or we are developing smart cities, the new airport cities. Definitely the developer of the new airport city, the developer of the new smart cities, they are looking for energy efficiency solutions, for example. And on the MRO, as mentioned, we have the area designated to be MRO area within the airport city. And that piece of land is large enough to host 3 MROs. So for companies who are looking to develop MROs in Asia Pacific region, perhaps might want to have a look at Attapich International Airport City.
Okay, but very well. Thank you very much for your time. I don't see any other question in the meantime from the audience. In case, I just want to reassure everyone that kindly we will share a presentation from the EEC. So very soon, if you need, you can drop us a message just in case we lose your email, and we will put directly in contact with the office of Dr. Luxmon. After maybe in a couple of days, we will be able also to upload this webinar online, and we will put it on basically the TICC YouTube channel to make it available for everyone with references. And so anyhow, thank you a lot for your time. It was very insightful, the presentation.
Thank you. It's my pleasure indeed.
Okay, and again, thank you to everyone attending the webinar. And we will keep in touch. And of course, you can contact my office and EEC anytime for specific question related to your business. We will be happy to help you to find the right contact and right partner. Thank you again, everyone, and thank you to EEC again and Dr. Luxmon.